Opening statement for the motion.
Hi judges, I am speaking for the motion will automation wipe out more jobs than it creates in India. According to the World Economic Forum's Future Jobs Report, by 2027, 83 million jobs will be lost to automation and AI, whereas we'll be creating only 69 million jobs. So that is a net loss of 14 million jobs in the global market. Coming to India, the ratio is even more alarming. According to the International Labour Organization's report, close to 70% of the jobs are impacted or at a higher risk of being lost due to automation and AI. So why did we actually need automation? So this was a need for the Western world to overcome the lower workforce. So unfortunately for us, we have taken this concept of automation and extrapolated it to the capital model of economy, wherein we are equating this to productivity. Now, India being a labor surplus market, we're actually at a disadvantage when we move to automation. We're actually taking away the advantage that India has. Now, automation is not only about IT. There are also other sectors such as manufacturing and agriculture which are impacted by automation. My good friend Bhavya will also accept the fact that due to Mahindra, two companies such as Tata Motors and Mahindra have bought in robots to actually replace people on the shop floor. And coming into agriculture, during the harvest season, automated machines have actually taken away the low-skilled jobs from people, causing unemployment in rural India. Now, concentrating on the, I'll close my opening statement. Okay.
Opening statement against the motion.
Hi judges, today I will be speaking against the motion that automation will wipe out jobs in India. I think automation should be seen as a tool for enhancement rather than some tool for elimination. Automation is a means to increase productivity, efficiency and output, and it is not meant to meant for mass unemployment. And I would like to reason this with three key points. First one is historical precedent. So we are all aware that whenever some new technology has come, it has set fears in the minds of people that it will wipe out jobs and everything. But we can see the example of computers that replaced typewriters. Initially, people thought that okay, now the typewriters are gone, so what will happen to those who are typing? But what happened was that it created a new sector called IT sector, and it also created software jobs and everything. So I believe that this fear is bound to be there, but we have to overcome it and we have to see it as a friend and an ally rather than a threat. Second point is demographic dividend. So India has a very young population comprising of 60% over 35.
Rebuttal for the motion.
Sure. I see you again. I like the fact that you mentioned we have to see automation as a friend and not as an enemy, or automation as something that was not something that is used for mass unemployment or such. But as we see the trends and the data, it is pretty evident that that is what the automation actually gets us to. And as rightfully Rakendra pointed out, India is such a labor-centric market where what we have to offer is our labor. And like you mentioned, all the good points that you mentioned about upskilling and us getting those jobs, and how this would be rather than a transitioning effect and rather than us losing jobs as a total. But what about the jobs that are not in IT? India's GDP has I believe 15 to 17% in agriculture and other 14% so in manufacturing. All of these are labor centric jobs, which is labor intensive. If an automation were to come, where will all of these jobs go? India is something that has been historically where when disruptions has happened like this in automation, these labor-centric markets, these labor-intensive markets have absorbed those people and gave them jobs. What if automation were to penetrate this? They have already done that. What if it happens more? We are losing jobs to automation at an alarming pace. Like you mentioned, in the next 20 years, we believe to lose 69% of jobs. But the rate at which we are growing these jobs in the other market isn't as fast as it. What is the answer for that? I don't think India is ready for an automation-based disruption.
Rebuttal against the motion.
Thank you, judges. All the arguments for the motion team has been centered towards. It is centered toward that automation is an enemy of the labor, but the fact of the matter is that it is not an enemy of the labor. It helps to enhance the productivity of a given system first and foremost, and we have to see that automation is not something that takes away the pie from the table. It expands that pie. My friend Rakendo has mentioned that automobile companies have brought in robots and to replace the robots, but since I have experience in automotive industry, I can say that it has not replaced the robots, but it has enhanced the productivity. An automotive factory which used to produce around 2 lakh vehicle earlier, it has expanded its production capacity from 2 lakh to 5 lakh with the help of automation and with the help of automated lines and everything. So this is the first thing. Now coming to the IT sector, there is a fear. Yes, there is fear as mentioned by Aditya, and it has not been there because of automation or because of AI. It has been there when industrial revolution began, when computers came in, when the internet age came in. Same thing has happened. But since human have tendency and ability to adapt, so we are surely going to adapt in near future for
Free flow debate.
I hear you, Bhavya, but like my question to that is, when you mentioned that the pie is just going to be distributed, to whom is it going to be distributed? India, we know, is the 5th largest or 4th largest GDP, but like the per capita GDP is one among the lowest. So whenever we bring in automation, the pie always seems to go towards the top 1 or 10% of the people, and it creates a clear divide. So what do you think about that?
Exactly. So I'm not saying that the pie is going to distribute it. That's your argument that pie is going to distribute. My argument is that the pie is going to expand it. If you see, we are studying macroeconomics these days, and we see that our per capita consumption is much lower than the Western countries, Europeans or maybe the Scandinavian country. So with the help of automation, we can expand our production capabilities. We can expand the quality of our production, which can further increase our consumption and further increase our exports as well. So it is beneficial for all. I'm using very consciously the term that it should be done with a manner that it should not affect the lower strata of the economy, lower strata of the society at all. And I think the government is taking steps like Skill India and other initiatives, which is helping them to cope up with this automation and other challenges as well.
So I agree to that point, but the problem is with automation, you're losing more jobs than you're creating. Right, the basis of the point is you're reskilling the people, but you're just displacing people from one job to another, and you're not actually helping them grow vertically. What you're doing, you're taking person from one place, automation, a machine comes and sits there. You reskill him, put him in another shop floor, another factory, right? And another machine comes and sits there. He's at the same level, right?
No, I think I agree with what you're saying, but the thing is that if you automate a process that is very mundane, so that increases the efficiency and that releases that resource.
Time out. Closing statement 1 for the motion.
Okay, I would like to conclude this debate by saying for the motion that technological progress doesn't necessarily mean human progress. So by technologically, while we automate and the production is going upwards and the GDP is growing, all of that, but like that doesn't help a human who's actually in need at the end of the day. When they don't have that work, when they don't have that job security, when they are pushed to a position where they have to accept and go deal with an unregulated market. India is like completely now, I believe like around 85% of the workers are in gig workers, which is an informal sector. This is because of those automation where the people with their secure jobs are displaced. So like I mentioned, like I don't believe that automation is something that we need to take it as a silver bullet and like we can just upskill. You cannot go and tell a manual worker to just learn AI and then upskill and get a better job.
Closing statement against the motion.
As the team mentioned that gig workers are getting affected, but we have to acknowledge that a decade before there was nothing called gig workers. It's just because of the automation, it's just because of the technology that this gig worker economy has been created. Though it has its own challenges, but at least they have something. Their per capita income is increasing because of that. And see, we are concerned about India, not about the globe, and India is sitting at a very sitting at a juncture where we have a very young population, we have a growing economy which is growing around 7-8% per year, the GDP, and the government support. We have a very stable government as well. These three factors combined can really can really pave the way we want to see in India in 2050. And coming to this question, that whether it's the question is not about whether we can adapt, it's about how quickly we can adapt.
Time. Sure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.